Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest Root Cause Marketing business webinar series. Today, we are so excited to welcome Dr. Christine Manukyan, who is a pharmacist D, a holistic wellness coach, a certified breathwork practitioner, four-time best-selling author, and host of the top-ranked STORRIE Podcast. In 2007, Dr. Christine graduated from pharmacy school, entered the world of hospital pharmacy, but she saw the clinicians all around her feeling burned out, unfulfilled, and struggling to believe in the solutions they were providing. So in 2015, she took a leap of faith. She left corporate America and started what was then called the Functional Medicine Business Academy, now the STORRIE Institute, in 2020. And she provides other practitioners with a financially viable, legally sound approach to offering holistic services without compromising or overshadowing your medical health or wellness training. And Dr. Christine, above all else, wants to instill an entrepreneurial mindset and skill set in her students so they can access and serve clients in this virtual world we live in while taking charge of their financial futures. Welcome, Dr. Christine.
Thank you so much. And it's such an honor to be here with you ladies. And I'm also going to make sure I don't misspeak, but I started the entire brand in 2015, but I did not leave corporate till 2020. So I want to make sure that is clear. I was one of those crazy, wild people that left a very stable position in a top ranked hospital here in California to pursue what her heart and passion is, which is entrepreneurship and functional medicine. So that all happened in, 2020. So just wanted to make sure that's correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, oh man, what an introduction and what an honor to have you here with us today. We're so excited. Before we dive into all of our entrepreneurial discussion here, I did just want to highlight and congratulate you for your most recent marathon that you finished in California. And just if you want to share a little bit more about that experience, I follow you, of course, on social media, and it sounds like that wasn't something you had 100% trained for. So tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. There's always a story behind the story. So I started my health transformation journey, as we mentioned earlier, in 2015, and losing 100 pounds, started doing bodybuilding as my first sport to attempt when I was 37. And after that, I was like, bodybuilding is fun, but I'm going to challenge myself. I'm always, thinking what's next? How can I elevate myself, my performance? So what was next was to start running. I was not a runner. You asked me to run a mile. I'd be like, you must be kidding me. Can we walk? Do we have to run? So there was a whole stretching that happened for me as I was growing from bodybuilding, weight loss journey to running. So I took my first few steps, my first 5K in 2017. And then my first 10K in 2018. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to train for a marathon, you guys. I'm going big. And my friends are like, can you at least run a half a marathon before you commit to the big goal? I'm like, no, I'm going to train for a big marathon for my 40th birthday, which was in 2020. And that was my first experience to tapping into this running and marathon training. And I actually completed my first marathon, March 8th of 2020. And the following day, the world shut down. Literally the following day, the world was like, pandemic is happening. And what happened was I took literally 2 years off, and many people, just doing what we could at home, running was not I just did not enjoy that anymore. Doing this outside with the mask, it was just not happening. So I literally took a 2 years break till last year. I said, I need to get back to running. And last year in September, I committed to LA Marathon, which is actually scheduled in 10 days in March. And so as we're doing our training for the marathon, which is a 6-month training, I decided to actually throw in another marathon in between because I was like, why not? I'm trained, somehow, but not really, but I'm just going to do it anyways. And it really helped me to test my mental strength. It's all about the mindset. It's one step at a time to get to the finish line and cross the finish line. And yes, I completed my unplanned marathon while I'm training for a marathon, which is about to happen in a week. And it's been a journey to think of like how much we're capable of doing. And we just have to give ourselves permission to give it a try.
Wow, that's so awesome. I love everything about that. And I think it's a really actually great intro to more of what we'll be talking about today. I mean, in that story, so many themes, emerged for me. And one was just be brave and be courageous and just do it. Just do something. Putting that action into place and literally, like you said, taking one step at a time. So if you can tell us a little bit more about how you have, parlayed your, courageousness and your, I don't even know what the word is. Jennifer, help me here. Just being very proactive and taking that action
tenacity
with,
too.
yes,
Yes.
taking that action without, knowing everything and just diving right in and getting
Leap of
it done.
faith.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Man, there's so many different stories and parts I can share, but I'm going to start this with this conversation first. Here in our profession, especially in our clinical profession, which many of your listeners are, we are kind of brainwashed to make decisions, meaning like we are not empowered to be decisive. And one of the most crucial life-changing skills that you have to develop is to make decisions. Any decision is a good decision because you just made a decision. I can decide today that I'm going to drink lemon water 4 liters a day, 6 liters a day because I have decided, right? So and again, I'm tying this back into clinicians because myself, I'm a clinician. I've been trained as a clinician, but we're living in a society when like you have to doubt yourself. You have to question a million times before you say something. Because our logical mind is like, what if I hurt someone? What if this decision is not the best one for my patient? What if? And we just stick with like the guidelines and the protocols and the textbook material that was written years ago to make decisions. And we always have to go ask someone else, our boss and the boss's boss, before we say something and do something. So this has been conditions in our DNA that making decisions is hard. Making decisions is not the best way to live your life because, what if you fail? Well, I had to challenge that because for me to change my life, I had to decide. I had to decide that I no longer want to be a morbidly obese with high cholesterol with, insomnia and stress and just being like a hot mess mom who was told she's going to have a heart attack by the time she turns 40 because of the condition that my health was declining. I had to decide I want to be alive and thrive when I'm in my 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s because of my family. So I had to make that big decision of like, enough is enough. I don't know what this path is going to look like. I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I knew something has to change. I knew there's a better way to heal my body. There's a better way to experience the growth, right? And I had to like make that in my front, like center of like, Christine, you just have to make a decision and just
I've
to the
heard of
world.
that.
Yeah.
Right. I think I've heard of people say, what is it? Leap and either, build your wings as you fall or leap and the net will appear.
Yeah, that's my motto. That's what I preach. And that's what I tell all of my clinicians inside STORRIE Institute too, is like messy, inspired action is better than no action, right? There's someone else doing things that you dreamt about doing because they took action. Again, I decided I wanted to run the marathon. And now, like years later, I can decide to run the marathon and do that with ease because I've done that already. It's like, what's next, right? It really helps your body to condition yourself of saying, like, I just trust myself. And any decisions that I make is going to help me and serve. And there's lessons that I'm going to learn along the way. right? There's always lessons you're going to learn. And if you don't take action based on what you've done and what you've learned, you're just going to repeat the same old story years after years and be like, why am I still where I am right now? So I hope this answers your question. I can talk hours and hours around this, but again, it was all about making that decision of like, I don't want to become a statistics, because those are the words that came out of my doctor's mouth. Like, you're going to have a heart attack, you're going to die in the next 5 years. I was like, no, and I'm not going to take a pill. I'm a pharmacist who doesn't like to take pills. I'm like, no, I'm going to figure out a way and the universe will deliver, which happened. That's how I found functional medicine.
Yeah, I love that. And you make it sound so easy, just to decide and to make that decision. But we all know that it's a very simple concept, but it's very hard to make that decision. So where do you think that you sort of get that trust in yourself to be able to make these decisions? And how do you coach other functional medicine providers who may not have such a really good sense of trust for themselves as they're learning to just decide so that they can move forward?
Oh my gosh, beautiful. Yes, I love talking about this. Mindset is everything. Whether it's deciding to do X, Y, and Z, mindset is everything, right? And yes, I didn't wake up one day and have all this like magically, power, superpower in me. But it goes down to like, why are you doing this? Right. And a lot of times we forget this powerful, why did I want to lose weight? Why? And I had to ask myself that 5 times. And, this is kind of like tagging into like how I coach all of our clinicians inside our tribe of like, ask yourself why 5 times. The first layer, just the most obvious one. I just want to lose weight because I'm morbidly obese. The second level of why, how is that going to help me? Why, all the way down. And you will be surprised at like the why you started with is not the why you end up with, because you have to ask this deep, like level of like why. And my biggest why at the end, after I did that exercise to myself at that time was like, I don't want my daughter to grow up feeling insecure in her own body. You see how it was not about the weight loss anymore? It went into my child. She was 3 years old at that time, 2.5 years old, because I'm already thinking of like, I don't want to be that role model for her. So again, if we just stay in like, I just want to lose weight and your why is not strong enough, you're just going to give up. You're going to start paying attention to what everyone thinks of you. People are going to start judging you. By the way, they're going to judge you no matter what, right? And just knowing that you have a bigger purpose in life, knowing that your why is so strong will help you to make those decisions every single day. And consistency is a key. It's not like one day we're going to wake up and be like, I'm going to brush my teeth today, but tomorrow I'm not so sure about because it's raining today and I don't know if I should do that. No, this becomes consistency, consistent daily action, right? Helps you decide and make those better choices every single day. And this is how I lead inside our, group of like, you guys just take action and stop being such a perfectionist, because that will kill your dreams. Again, I quit my job from Cedars-Sinai, which is one of the top hospitals here in Beverly Hills, my career that I had for 12 years, my reputation, I put everything aside, my salary. But I took that messy action to quit my job because I had a bigger vision. I had a bigger purpose in life. I'm like, I need to do more. I'm not meant to be here. I'm meant to be here. I need to be bringing functional medicine, holistic wellness to millions of lives around the world. I should be, and I will be, and I am leading this whole functional medicine revolution to train clinicians how to go from a practitioner to holistic wellness coach, because this is the best standard of care. So again, I had to go deep, like, why am I so inspired? And when you do this 5 layers of, deep why, thinking, like, you will get up and be like, this is why I'm going to do this. And everything else just seems easy. And I know many of you like, this is not the first time. I didn't come up with that, right? But I borrowed that concept from a seminar I listened to, a podcast I listened. I'm like, I need to do this. And it always goes back to like, are you taking action based on things that you learned? A lot of people will know like, oh yeah, I got to do this, I got to do that, but they're not applying their knowledge. And this is where I disagree that, knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Taking action of what you're learning is power. So again, I learned from someone that 5 levels of deep why will change your life. And I had to apply that in my life. And that's when I had to decide, I'm going to change my health story. I'm going to change my story. I'm going to rewrite my story because my why was so deep. I did not want my daughter to grow up kind of like not feeling secure in her own body. I was like, no, that's not the mom I want to be. And
that
it
is
was
a beautiful sentiment.
does not like come into, again, I can get very philosophical. Is that the right word? But yeah, it always goes down to like why you're doing, like why.
So you brought up the training that you do for clinicians to help them change their paradigm entirely, to do something completely different with their lives. And this is honestly, Landy and our skills are marketing. So that's why, but our mission is the same as yours, Dr. Christine, to bring functional medicine to so many more people. Our mission as a marketing company is literally to have functional medicine be the paradigm of modern day health. This is what we want healthcare to be across America and across the world. So that's what we work toward too. So tell us about the STORRIE Institute and about the programs and the entrepreneurial motivation that you bring and provide to people who are feeling really stuck and want to do something more and better with their lives too.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to be clear, STORRIE Institute was born after like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years of trial and error, keep trying one thing and changing it up till changing it up. And I really trusted my intuition. I do breath work. I'm a breathwork practitioner. I also teach that to our practitioners, and trusting my breath, like letting my breath to be my guide. There's so much inside us, but if we don't tap into it, you are not going to know what is possible, what you're going to create. So STORRIE Institute was born based on breath work, based on doing a lot of that inner work. And then what you see from outside is this company who is empowering clinicians and coaches to become holistic wellness coaches. And again, in the past, I used to call ourselves functional medicine specialists, but I realized whole health is not just functional medicine. There's so much more to that. And if you guys go to our website, you will see a beautiful diagram. Yes, it is beautiful. It is sexy. A beautiful diagram says, holistic wellness. What does that mean? It's a whole body health. That's where the W comes from, with holistic principles. And in our STORRIE Institute, holistic wellness is a practice of returning to our natural state of health by adapting a lifestyle that supports our body's innate ability to heal and thrive. And holistic wellness includes functional medicine, includes nutrition, includes energy healing, includes Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine. There's all these different modalities that's represented in that diagram, which again I came up with during my breath of like, what does this mean? And functional medicine is one of the bubbles in there, right? And what we do inside our tribe is like, we want to become that clinician who is going to really give our clients, our patients, options. Okay, yes, functional medicine is the core. This is where we do a lot of lab testing and all that, but we got to look at the person as a whole. What drives them? What supports do they need from us? If you're watching me live, you see a bunch of energy bowls behind me. I'm a certified, sound bowl healer as well too. But again, like, what if that's the only tool my client needs, right? The energy healing. Let me provide that to them. Or maybe they need nutrition. Let me provide that to them. So you really understand of like how you can support your client, either yourself or the network of clinicians you can refer them to. I'm huge on referring people. But again, in our institute, we are getting you, the path to entrepreneurship, the path of creating your own wellness practice, the path to creating your own legacy in this holistic wellness space by becoming a holistic wellness coach. And we're a certification program like any other school, like IFM, FMU, SAFM. There's so many amazing schools that I've also been part of, by the way, all 3 of them I just mentioned, because I know there has to be a different way we approach this category. And inside our STORRIE Institute, again, our clinicians are they have to be a clinician or a health coach. This is not where you come to become a health coach and a clinician. You have to have a degree to support that. So we're taking your degree to the next level, and we are really bringing into everything that you need from the mindset, entrepreneurship, this energetics of entrepreneurship, which is something that my company is also known for, to bring this vision. How can you as a clinician get monetized for the skills that you already have inside you, but you just didn't know it's in there? Okay, you just didn't know this is even an opportunity for you to learn and grow and create. And one of my big visions is, as I do all this incredible trainings, and we've had over like 80 clinicians go through our programs from different backgrounds, nurse practitioners, pharmacists, pharmacy students, even while they're still in school, chiropractors, like you name it, different clinicians from different backgrounds, for them to also become a voice for corporate America, for them to become a voice for employee wellness. So not just, serving one-on-one clients in their programs, but like, how can we go and, have this ripple effect to more people? And that's one of my biggest visions, is as we are growing, we are going to become a resource for big companies to hire us and our clinicians to provide the services. So all the employees that work there, they have benefits that's actually beneficial to their health, right? So the vision will grow. But to answer your question, short way, you can say I'm very passionate about this, is to really help people understand, clinicians understand they are meant for more. There are so many tools and resources they already have inside them. It's just that they have not been put in the right, environment to thrive. And this is what STORRIE Institute comes in. You mentioned we had book publications. You guys can see behind us. We have 3 best-selling books. We're about to start writing our 4th one as part of our series, how are practitioners going to from the corporate world to an entrepreneurship as a holistic wellness coach. So I cannot wait to see the next growth, the next chapter of our own story, hence where we're going, where we're leading, and this movement that we have created. And it all started with that one decision for me to quit my job and to pursue what my burning desire was, to bring this to the world, like you ladies.
Yeah, it's so inspiring and exciting to hear that again, that simple concept of just one decision can truly change your life and thousands, millions, because I know that's one of your goals, right? To transform over 1 million practitioners and bringing them into this functional medicine, holistic, truly holistic type of medicine. So my question for you is, in your institute, do you provide, as far as those different modalities that you mentioned, the nutrition versus energy healing, things like that, are you offering in-house like all of those different modalities?
Yeah. So we're growing, right? We are definitely growing. And the last year or so, I personally went into like really kind of heavy on the energy healing part with the breath work, with all the certifications. I'm getting trained in Reiki, NLP, and all this like woo-woo stuff that a lot of people do. So that will be definitely the branch for myself. But to answer your question, yes. Our clinicians are exposed to all of those. I'm also currently myself too taking classes to become a certified Ayurvedic nutritionist or nutrition coach. I need to look at the official title, what the heck I just signed up for. But yes, we are, growing and bringing, experts from different places, different parts of this diagram that I just mentioned to teach inside our tribe. Again, they're getting the exposure, but again, I'm always big on, if they need to, if this is something that they really are excited about, then go to another established, let's say, school or something that, or program that specifically talks about that. But they're all exposed to the entire wheel of different ways of trainings. And we're not just going deep. It's just not possible to do that in a 12-month program, right? There's just so much that we can cover, but everyone is exposed to all the different modalities. And I help them and guide them by like, hey, if someone is really interested in nutrition, here's a school I can recommend. Here's a program I can recommend. Here's a mentor I can recommend. But they're exposed to the foundational work, if that makes sense. And, we live in this beautiful society when there's so much also free resources that's available to us, right? So if someone is really, really interested, let's say on, Chinese medicine or herbalism, right? There's so much resources already. They can go follow the gurus in the world and learn from them. Right? I'm all about how can we collaborate, but again, they're exposed of knowing like I can do this. Hey, I can bring this tool to my wellness practice. This makes me unique. This makes my practice different. This makes me stand out from any other practitioner, right? Again, having everyone have their own uniqueness and their niche by being exposed to all of those, bubbles that I call inside our tribe. But they're just physically, it's not enough time to go deep in that. But since you asked the question, I'm going to answer. And this is actually the first time I'm publicly announcing this outside of our tribe. Should I not? Oh, what the heck, I will. So
yes.
My intuition is telling me I'm going to tell you guys this. So I have very big goals.
Okay.
My vision is to create a brand new doctorate program, brand new category as a holistic wellness doctor or diplomat. Because this entire space is not regulated. It's a little bit of a shit show. Excuse me if I can say that in your show.
We're all adults here.
Yep.
Very straight talk, like, right? And
yes.
talk to one person like, oh, I can legally do this, and the other person, no, I cannot. It's a shit show. It's like all of my practitioners are like, can I not? I was like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But my vision is to actually create a brand new category of diplomat or a doctorate program for holistic wellness that will cover all that will tell people like, this is how you do it. This is how you practice. This is how you can maintain your license, your certification, whatever we end up calling, right? And my big vision is also to have an actual physical school in very zen locations, probably going to be here in California, by the mountains, by the ocean, to have an actual school, and each faculty will be the specialist to train functional medicine, nutrition, herbalism, Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine. So we'll have faculty specifically for that. So again, our clinicians will be exposed to everything. And when they're due for their rotations to go, experience this wonders in the world, I'm going to send them out of the United States because let's just face it. We're not the best place to be in.
Right. There are so many more. You even mentioned Ayurvedic, and I'm thinking, how few people here in America. I if I remember right, Ayurvedic nutrition is talking about like your pitta and your vata, right? And if you're like a person like me who's round, or a person like Landy who's thin, and the way that you eat for warmth and for cool. But I mean, that's literally the extent of my knowledge of Ayurvedic nutrition.
And I want, as they're going through the program, like on their last year of internship, like, to go to the different places of the world. Just came back from Bali. Let them go to Bali, experience energy healing. Let them go to China. Let them go to India. Let them go and experience all that from the, the true, like people who've done this for centuries. Right,
and then they could go to Nepal. They could go to the areas in South America where there's so much ancient wisdom of roots and mountain herbals. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited hearing this.
So we don't have to again limit us what we have access to here in the States. Don't get me wrong, we have brilliant people here. But we need to go back, like, again, what's the root cause of those people becoming where they are right now? And again, like, I haven't shared this publicly, and probably my lawyer is going to be like, why did you open your mouth and share that? But you know what? The reason I'm sharing this is because, number one, I called into sharing this vision, and I know I cannot do this alone. I know it's going to take a tribe of clinicians who'll be like, heck yeah, let's go, let's do that, let's create this. And I know, smart people will come into my life, they'll show me the how to actually open up actual freaking school, like in-person school. Like, who am I? Am I the dean? Am I the owner? Who am I, right? Like, all those things I don't know, and I'm okay with that, but I know where I'm going. I just have to surrender
Mhm.
and trust the process, because people who have those skill sets will come and be like, I want to support your vision. I want to support your like mission. Like, hey, there's this really nice like 5 acres of land. I can start like creating, this bidding war to like get the land, because it really matches where you want to create this Zen school, and how we teach and how we practice. Like it has to be changed. Like where we are right now, it's not, my kids, like they have to have a better way of like learning and studying and experiencing life in general. It's outside of the textbooks and the classrooms. They have to go and explore. They have to. So anyway,
Yeah. Wow.
there you have it.
Yes. Yeah. Look at that special announcement.
Have it in an
That
podcast,
that
and
is awesome. See, but you just manifested it now. So now the universe is going to get to work and bringing the right people into your life with, which I want to mention. Jennifer and I have a couple projects brewing ourselves.
I was
And
just wondering
the
if we should say something.
the key, we're not going to spill as much beans because we're very early stages of this, but we are working on a couple of things that I definitely would like to visit with you. I think it's very much in line with your vision of collaboration and finding your tribe and finding those people who believe the same things, that want a better way. And I think that we've got some really great ideas, so we would love to visit with you off of this webinar and see if we can possibly help each other out in that regard too.
Yeah, we have some
But
big
now that we've
ideas for building community and building greater access to functional medicine and holistic healthcare overall. So we're really
Yes.
excited about some of our future plans too. But yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So that's really exciting, really, really exciting. And
thank you for
you
sharing.
are truly, I feel so honored. We're the first ones to know.
You are.
And she's a true pioneer. She's a true pioneer and leader in this arena. And we're just so grateful to have you. So
Speaking of
shifting gears.
pioneering,
Oh,
I just wanted to ask a little bit,
go ahead.
because I know you just opened up a brand new segment of the STORRIE Institute too. I mean, this literally just happened within the last week, right? Can you tell us a little bit about your expansion?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So I want everyone to kind of understand what the heck we're like, why is the story keeps coming up, and there's like all the different branches. So my main company is STORRIE, which is STORRIE, and it's uniquely spelled because to me, we're all unique and we all have our own story to share, and we all also deserve a second chance to rewrite our story to become the best version of ourselves. That's where the name came from. And also we all deserve to not be explaining and justifying things that we do in life because of the stigma that people might have around us. So like us to really own of the truth of who we are. So that's the STORRIE brand. Inside STORRIE brand, obviously there's my personal brand, Dr. Christine Manukyan, and then there's STORRIE Institute, which is our education. So think of it, this is our educational umbrella part of our company. And then STORRIE Wellness, what we're just talking about, is our clinical services section. So STORRIE Wellness officially launched last week on March 2nd. And my main vision for this wellness practice is, like I was talking about earlier, is to go into corporate wellness. We have all these incredible clinicians who are, which we're going to reveal who's going to be part of our team, to go in to really work with big corporations. We're definitely going to start with our hospital setting, because a lot of myself and my clinicians, that's our background. So how can we bring corporate employees these tools and these visions that we already have? So STORRIE Wellness is our, clinical services. I'm saying clinical because that's what that is, but these are all clinicians who've been trained from STORRIE Institute so they can actually practice. And again, this vision came to me not only from from the entrepreneur perspective, but I'm also big on like, how can I support my tribe to like thrive? And what I realized after mentoring like 80 some clinicians, not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone wants to have their own business. Not everyone wants to do their own marketing, have their own, brands. But I know one thing that was common. Everyone wants to help someone with holistic health and functional medicine. So I was like, let me create a space for you all to practice in. So that's where STORRIE Wellness was also born, based on how can I serve my clinicians better? How can I provide them resources where they are waking up every single day knowing like they're making a difference and they're making an impact in the world, and they don't have to worry about all the logistics, what it means to be an entrepreneur, because again, not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, but everyone wants to make an impact in the world. So again, STORRIE Wellness is a brand new branch of our big company, STORRIE, and is definitely something that is going to grow. We just launched, and for now what we're offering is one of the lab testings, a hair tissue mineral analysis testing. We also have a group program that's going to be launching later on this month, Wholistic Weight Loss. This is a 7-week weight loss program, not your traditional weight loss. This is where each week I will be tapping into all the 7 different chakras and how to help you to block certain blocks that you've had to aid in your weight loss journey. So this is a whole very woo-woo way of looking into weight loss. Again, it's going to be epic. There's no one else that does what we're about to launch. So again, we will be launching smaller group programs as well. But my big vision is to take this modalities to the corporate wellness and to really become that new gold standard of care for not only for us as human beings, but also like this becomes a non-negotiable for the CFO, the HR department, every company who has employees. Like, yes, this is where the money is going to go, and this is how the HR is going to support with them part of the benefit program. That's my vision.
I love that. I actually worked for 12 years for the largest county in Minnesota, Hennepin County, where Minneapolis is, for the public health promotion department. So yes, we were all about workplace health, school health, and community health. And I tell you what, I will be letting some of my former colleagues know about your wellness branch now, because they're always looking for new and unique ways to get corporate wellness more entrenched in the community. So that's wonderful.
Yeah. Definitely corporate wellness. And also, one of our biggest niche is going to be like mental health. And again, I've been doing so much research and so much like going down, like all these things are coming up. But one thing as an employer, Gen Zs are our new workforce, next couple of years. And they're very specific of like who they want to work for. And they're all aligned with a bigger vision, and they all are demanding not only the work-life balance, but also specifically, how can you support me in my mental wellness? If you don't have a structure in place to support your future employees, all these Gen Zs are about to enter the workforce, then you're missing out as an employer. You're not going to have staff. You're not going to have people who you'll retain. You will lose money on the back end because you're, hiring and, quitting is like ongoing thing. You're not going to be the company that people want to work for. So yeah, mental wellness is definitely something that we are very passionate about. And, like when you have a big vision, like people show up, and, one of the first places we're going to work towards is all the VAs. Personally, we have 3-4 clinicians who either work at the VA or they're also a vet themselves. And I'm like, let's go support them, right? So again, it always takes a visionary like myself to collaborate with my integrators who take this vision forward and, make this big ripple effect. So yeah, mental wellness is definitely going to be one of our top priorities in this beautiful space. And of course, myself and the breathwork, which is available to all of us if you use it. So those are going to be our first 2 big projects that we're going to lead with for corporate wellness. Yeah, I'm excited.
Very cool. Starting with the VA, that is incredible. I have some experience in my previous life. I used to be married to the military, and it is so it is so needed in that space. And so that's just great that you are bringing functional medicine and that way of handling that into an area that is, so in desperate need of that. So that's really, really exciting to hear. And thank you for that as a, as a former Army spouse.
Yeah. It's big. It touches everything. You know what I mean? And it also goes back to this whole stigma that I spoke about earlier as well too. And that's why my brand STORRIE was born, because there's just so much stigma of us like being open and sharing our story, especially when it comes to mental health. Again, like culturally, or where you are, or just how you're looked down at, and how people see you as a human being the minute you say something like that, right? And I just don't like, it doesn't sit well with me, and I'm like, we gotta change this. Like, we have to normalize how we talk openly and freely and ask for support. And we just have to, like, again, know that that person may not be the answers to what you're looking for, but we just want someone else to listen to us and be like, I hear you, I'm holding space for you, it's okay to talk, I have nothing to contribute to this conversation other than just to listen to you without judgment, right? Without judgment.
Yes.
And that's sometimes all we need. But we don't live in a society like that. It's always like, you have to like really stretch yourself, be really uncomfortable to ask for help.
Right.
And
we actually just had a guest on last week on our webinar who specializes in mental health and reducing stress on the one end, all the way to, getting very, very deeply needed mental health interventions, on the deeper end. And I'm glad that we're able to kind of have these conversations more in our society now. And thank goodness for our millennial and Gen Z counterparts who, who's bringing that new sense of, it's okay, we're humans, we're bringing our human self to our lives and our world and our work. That, we are opening up those channels of conversation now so people can get the help that they rightfully deserve. So, Landy, I know you were going to ask something earlier when I was asking Dr. Christine about the Institute and STORRIE Wellness. And so I'm hoping you remember what it was that you were about to ask her.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to learn, you did have a wonderful point earlier, in that all of the, clinicians who come to the STORRIE Institute, not all of them desire to be entrepreneurs. Not all of them desire to open up their own business. But for the sake of our audience, who are functional medicine providers who are in private practice, can you tell us, of course, without giving us too much detail, but can you tell us a little bit more about those business type of courses that you offer there at the STORRIE Institute?
Yeah. And again, business has a little bit of a bad rap because, again, this is how our society has trained us. Being a business owner is hard. Being a business owner, you have to be in so much debt. Again, there's all this pressure, right? And also there's a miscommunication of what truly happens when a business is thriving, when entrepreneurs are actually thriving. A lot of people don't show the behind the scenes, and all they show on social media is the glamour, the time freedom, and then traveling. But they're not showing like, hey, I was up till like 2 a.m. working on X, Y, and Z because I had a company to launch, right? But they're seeing the glamour. So again, a lot of people are confused of what does that really mean to be a business owner? What does that really mean to become an entrepreneur, right? And a lot of people don't understand, again, what do they really want, because they haven't been asked these questions. Like, why do you want to start your business? How do you want to run a business? What type of leader you want to become, right? And a lot of this has to do with who we are as a human being. Like, what's your Enneagram type? What's your Gallup strength test? What's your leadership strengths, right? These are things that shape who we are. And if you don't understand who you are, it's really hard to know that you want this, because when there is that disconnect, you're not going to be happy. So again, you ask me like how we support them. Like we do a lot of that inner work because again, entrepreneurship is not easy. Entrepreneurship is not sexy, but entrepreneurship opens up so many opportunities for you, right? It opens up so many opportunities. And one of the biggest things for us is like to really tap into like understanding who you are. I make all of my clinicians to take their Enneagram test, to take their Gallup strength test, and also their human design. Why? Because I want them to know who they are. So when they're building a business, it's aligned with their vision. Okay, so it's a
You're
lot of
talking to a couple of like psychometric assessment like nerds here, totally. So Enneagram 7, we're all about our MBTI. We're all about. I know that my strengths finders' strengths are flexibility, adaptability, all those good things. Yeah,
futuristic, strategic.
futuristic. Yep.
Yeah, that's my top 5.
There
And
you
again,
go.
I'm sharing all this because this has nothing to do with business. But again, people are not talking about this type of an approach. Yes, I can show you how to make $10,000 today. But if you don't know what you're going to do with that money, if you don't know if you're ready to receive money, if you don't know how to, communicate your desires to the world, you're not going to be successful. I can give you all the strategy you need today, all the marketing you need today, but you need to know who you are to receive that. And that's the big difference between, again, trust me, I've invested heavily on business coaches because I had no clue what the heck I was doing. I was new to this world. I literally just did my taxes. And just last year alone, I've invested $150,000 on mentorship. Just last year alone. Times that the last 3 years, it's insane. But again, every mentor has taught me something. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing all those modalities into what we do and how I teach business, how I teach entrepreneurship, how I teach mindset, how I teach marketing, right? How I really teach you to become you, and everything else will unfold versus just giving you more things to study and lectures. Like that's not sexy. Like doing that inner work is sexy. Understanding what drives you, what excites you will make such a huge difference. But a lot of people have it backwards. They have it backwards. They're like, oh, give me all the marketing tools I need, all the strategy. I'm like, yeah, but like, you're not going to be happy at the end of what you're creating. You're not going to be excited of what you're doing because there's that disconnect of what you're creating versus who you are. And you're going to be in misalignment. And let me tell you, you're going to go through a burnout as an entrepreneur. And you left your job to have more time, freedom, to have less burnouts. Okay. So yes, not everyone, understands what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone understands the sacrifices they also have to make to become an entrepreneur. And a lot of people also want that quick results.
Yeah.
Like they quit their job, they want to make money. Well, sorry, it can't happen, but that's not the norm. And they're going to shut their, desires down, their vision down because they were not successful. Nobody came up to their launch. Nobody watched their replay. Nobody signed up for their program because they wanted or they heard from another mentor that, yes, you do this, you're going to be successful. No, you have no idea what the outcome is going to be. And you can only control what you can control, which is who you are. Not the outcome. The outcome will come, but you got to control who you are. I don't think this answers your question, but the way I teach is, again, doing the inner work first before yes, I give you all the strategies. And, I'm very heavy on intuitive marketing of how, again, to trust your intuition, trust your breath work, to create what you're creating, having that purpose in life and how to bring that vision into fruition. But again, you have to do that inner work first before you start creating everything else and taking that daily, consistent, messy action every single day to get one step closer to where you want to go.
It sounds like the work that needs to be done in marketing too, where you need to have that foundational clarity on who you are, your brand, and your ideal audience before you can even start to think, how am I going to get there then? Social media isn't for everyone. Webinars aren't for everyone. Knowing who you are, how you communicate, and the message that you want to give out to the world. It sounds like we have very similar philosophies, the three of us, on how to put yourself out there in the business world.
Everyone, yeah, and kind of going in the same too, like everyone has their own unique gifts. And they just don't know how to monetize those gifts. So we're talking about social media, let's say going live and doing webinar. What if that's not your gift? Maybe your gift is actually to write. Then become the best writer, blogger that provides value every single week without being on camera. Become that person that people can go and rely on. They're going to receive information from you, right? So again, not everyone has to be on camera. Not everyone has to write. Not everyone has to do podcasts, but we all have something that excites us. I have clinicians who don't have any social media following or presence, but they're killing it in their business because of their live presence, because they love to do in-person webinar, like in-person events and live trainings, because that's what they love.
Yeah.
It might be 5 people watching them in this, small like gathering, but all 5 people say, "How can I work with you?" Because she has.
And then tell all their friends, because that energy just brings people in. Yeah.
And that's exactly what STORRIE, inside our tribe too. Like, I start everyone with STORRIE methods, and all the letters STORRIE stand for something. You guys can go on my website. You can read under our approach, and letter S stands for starts with you. That's what letter S stands for. Yes. And then we can go into everything else, what the story is spelled out to, but it's an acronym. Every module has its own way of like tapping into certain things. It's all over on our website, our approach and how we do stuff. But again, it starts with you. Like, who are you? Why do you want to do this? What's blocking you? How can we release that, right? How can we create that safe space for you to also ask for help from your mentor, myself? Hey, can you help me in X, Y, and Z, without the judgment? I'm like, hey, you should know that. Or I talked about that in this, module. No, creating that safe environment, having that relationship with, one another too. Like, so you're like, I got not only the support, but also like, this is a place for me to grow, and I'm going to stretch you. And I'm like really going to make you uncomfortable to do certain things, because this is where the growth is going to happen.
That sounds amazing. Thank you so much for coming on board with us today and telling us about STORRIE Institute, where clinicians can learn how to revolutionize their own practice by becoming holistic wellness coaches, and STORRIE Wellness, brand new arm of the STORRIE brand, which is now providing holistic and integrated healthcare to folks from all kinds of modalities, and everything else that you do, from your books to your upcoming expansion into potentially a brand new brick and mortar school in the relatively near future. You are a fascinating person to talk to, Dr. Christine Manukyan, and she is here with the STORRIE brand, STORRIE Institute and STORRIE Wellness, and we are so happy to have had you today. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Again, such an honor to have you, ladies. And I know we planned to do this webinar like a couple of months ago, but you know what? I also trust the universe, because a couple of months ago, I didn't have all this other things that I felt comfortable sharing. So again, timing is everything. So again, thank you for your patience and having these webinars scheduled. I appreciate everything you ladies are doing. I cannot wait to hear more about what you have going on, because I'm all about learning and growing together.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.